Alright folks, this is your first balancing equations crash course. So we're going to do the first 5 problems together. It's basically counting atoms and then doing a little bit of math to make the equations balanced. So first we're going to start with number 1, and the first thing you do is you write the atoms or elements from one side of the equation down. That's a bad circle. Try again. From one side of the equation down. Remember, these are the reactants. So we're going to write those down first. So first we have a hydrogen, then we have oxygen, and then we're going to write down how many there are. And so in this example, there are 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. And then we're going to go, I got a little ahead of myself, to the products, which are over here, and write down and count how many there are each of those. So I wrote the H already, and there's 2 of those. And there's an oxygen, there's 1 of those. And these need to be balanced, and they're not balanced. See, this one right here has 2, and this one has 1. So we need to do something on this side of the equation, the product side, to balance them out. So the simplest thing to do would be to get a 2 right here. So to do that, we're going to put a 2 in front of the H2O, and then that's going to give us 4 hydrogen because we multiply the coefficient by the subscript. That gave us 4. Then, just like in math, we distribute this 2 out, and so that gives us 2 oxygen. So now we're getting closer because we have 2 oxygen, but now we have 4 hydrogen and 2 hydrogen, so we need to go back to the reactant side and make that a 4. The easiest way to do that is to put a 2 in front of it. 2 times 2 is 4. Now we're balanced. We have 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, 2 oxygen. Good to go. Alright, number 2. First thing you do is write the atoms on the reactant side. So we have magnesium, we have oxygen, we count how many we have. We have 1 magnesium, we have 2 oxygen. Then you go to the product side. We have magnesium, we have oxygen, we have 1 of each. Now we're going to balance them. We have to get 2 oxygens. So to do that, we're going to put a 2 up there in front of the magnesium oxate. We distribute the 2's out. So we have 2 magnesium now, and we have 2 oxygen. So now we have 2 here and 2 here, but we have to figure out what to do here. Easiest thing to do is put a 2 in front of that magnesium. Now we have 2 magnesium, 2 magnesium, 2 oxygen, 2 oxygen, balanced. So on this one, we put the reactants down first, Li and F2. I made a mistake here. That 2 should not be right there. And then we count them. We have, I went ahead and wrote the same letters on the other side too. Li, F, F, so just write down your atoms. And then we have 2 fluorines, 1 lithium, 1 fluorine. We need to balance this. Oops, I did not mean to use an eraser. We need to balance this by getting a 2 over here somehow. Easiest way to do that is put a 2 in front. That gives us 2 lithium, 2 fluorine, because remember, this distributes out. Then if we have 2 lithium, we need to fix this number on this side, so we're going to put a 2 in front. Now we have 2 lithium, 2 fluorine, 2 fluorine. Balanced. Moving right along to number 4. So we're going to go ahead and write our atoms for our left-hand side. We have 1 potassium, 2 oxygen. On this side we have 2 potassium and 1 oxygen. We have to balance that. So we're going to put a 2 in front of the potassium. That gives us 2 on the left-hand side, and that balances out our right for the time being. But once we distribute this, look what happens. This gives us 4 because 2 times 2 is 4, but it does give us 2 oxygen, so at least we have our oxygen balanced. So then now we're like, our krypton, it's potassium. I know it's okay, but it's potassium. Our potassium is off balance, so we need to fix that. So to do that, I'm going to change that 2 to a 4, and now I have 4 potassiums, 2 oxygens, 2 oxygens. So guys, sometimes it's trial and error, and you just have to do the math and figure it out. It might take you several, and especially when you have parentheses and several compounds in the equation, it's going to take a little bit of work. So just take it one atom at a time, break it down, and if you have to go back, you just go back. All right, number 5. On the left-hand side, we write down the H and the O. On the right-hand, so we have 2 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. And then on the product side, we have hydrogen and oxygen. We have 2 hydrogen. Now look what's going on here. We have H2O, and then we have also oxygen. So we have to add those ones together. See the plus sign? We add them together. Okay, so that gave us 3. So to balance it out, we need to figure out how to get an even number of oxygen. So we're going to put 2 in front of the H2O2, and that's going to distribute out here. That's going to give us 4, and then we're going to distribute to there. That's going to give us 4. And once we do that, we need to balance the other side. We need to get 4 hydrogen. To do that, we put a 2 there. That gives us 4. We also distribute to the O. And that's going to give us 4 because this 2 goes here, and then you add it to this 2, which gave us 4. Okay? All right. The last one I'm going to do with you is an example one of a bracket or parentheses. And so I have to go down a couple. We're doing number 9. So, and this is supposed to be an arrow. I don't know why that A showed up there, or I do know why it showed up there, but I forgot to delete it. Okay, so first we have to write our atoms down on the left-hand side. We have Ca, which is calcium, we have hydrogen, we have oxygen. Then we count them. We have 1 calcium, 2 hydrogen. This is supposed to say 1 oxygen. Then we count our left-hand side. We have calcium, oxygen, hydrogen there. And this time, guys, I messed up and I wrote them in the order they were written instead of the same order across. So you have to pay attention. If you do that, if you don't write them in the same order, make sure you're counting the right elements, atoms. Okay, so then we have to count our atoms. So we have 1 calcium. We have to distribute that 2 because it's on the outside of the brackets. So that hydrogen gives us 2 right here. But then we have to add it to this 2, so that gave us 4. And then we're going to distribute to the O, which gives us 2. So we have 1 calcium on each side. We have 1 oxygen on the left side, but 2 on the right. So we have to increase that number. And we have 1 hydrogen on the left, but 4 on the right, so we got to also increase a hydrogen. So what I'm going to try first is just to put a 2 over here in front of the hydrogen to see if I can increase our numbers. That gives us 1 calcium, 4 hydrogen, and still just 1 oxygen. We need to get 2 oxygens because we have 2 here, so I have to figure out how to do that. When we distribute it, that's how we'll get the 2. Now we have 2. So 1, 4, and 2, 1, 4, and 2, we're balanced. All right. That's all. If you have questions, come to office hours.